So Andor came out late last month on Wednesday, September 21st, and before I get into my review of the first 3 episodes, I want to quickly say a couple of things first. First, Star Wars is one of the things I love a lot. I've seen all the movies, all the shows, except for the lame Resistance ones. I love the comics, I love the games. So, when I watched Andor, I came in with the mindset of wanting to enjoy it, and you know what? I did. So Andor is a prequel series to Rogue One, a movie I haven't seen in a while, but I remember it being really good. The one era of Star Wars that I love and want to be more discussed about, or shown whether it's in movies, comics, or TV shows, is the Rise of the Empire era, or the era in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. The first to do this was Rebels in 2014, which was a series I still need to finish, but I liked most of it. Then it was Rogue One in 2016, which is a top 5 Star Wars movie in my opinion. Then in 2017, my favorite adaptation of this era came out in Darth Vader, the comic series, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi earlier this year. So Andor takes place 5 years before A New Hope and Rogue One, and we follow Cassian on Morlana 1, some new planet I'm pretty sure, where he is searching for his sister. He looks for her in a brothel, and a worker tells him that she left a while back, and while she helps him, 2 security workers start to antagonize Cassian, and he decides to leave since his sister's not there. Heading back to his ship, the 2 guards catch up to him and start to mess with him, and Cassian kills one of them with a headbutt on accident, then gets a hold of the other guard's weapon, and he starts to beg for his life, and Cassian doesn't care at all and just shoots him in the back of the head, which had me thinking like, damn, this is a little darker than I expected for a Star Wars show. So instead of calling Cassian the whole time, I'm just going to call him Cass. So, yeah. So Cass heads back to his home planet first. We find a droid named B2EMO. And honestly, he's probably a top 5 droid for me in entire Star Wars. Just off this first 3 episodes alone, top 5 droid. B2 tries to wake up Cass from his dream, which is about his old family of kids from a long time ago. And this dream occurs throughout the first 3 episodes. Cass gets up and heads out to talk to his friend, and he asks him to lie about where he was the night before and tell anyone that he was with him, and his friend agrees. Back at M1, Cass's murders are reported, and the chief inspector shrugs off the deaths, but Cyril, the, co-captain, or co-inspector, thinks that the Empire shouldn't be messed with, so he decides to take matters in his own hands. So while Cyril tries to find the murderers, Cass meets up with his friend Bix because she has a contact that could buy this Empire coordinates tracker that Cass stole on Morlana 1, and she contacts him. Back in Cass's dream, or flashback, him and the other kids watch a Republic ship crash and they prepare to go find it. Cyril puts out an arrest notice for someone who matches Cass' description, and Biggs finds out about this but doesn't tell her boyfriend Tim. And he figures out as well, and I really enjoyed that the text overlay they showed us because I always feel left out when they show the text in the Star Wars language / alphabet, so that was really cool. Cass and Bix meet up, and she informs him that the buyer's coming and he'll be there within the day. Jealous Tim finds them talking and he decides to report Cass to the Empire. Back in the dream, Cass and the Children of the Corn investigate the crashed Republic ship. The contact lands on Ferrix, and at Cass's mom's house, B2 tries to convince him to stay, and his mom takes a seat on his old bed, and there's a little bantha doll. Cyril and some N1 security guards make their way to Ferrix to arrest Cass. In the dream, Cass's friend gets shot at the ship, but he decides to search the ship while the other kids tend to the leader. The buyer makes its way towards the main town and meets up with Bix, and they head towards Cass. M1 troops drop in with off-brand gunships, which looks cool, but also makes me sad because I love the whole Clone Wars era. In the dream, Cass's mom, Marvar, not his mom at the time, and his dad end up finding Cass freaking out, and they decide to tranquilize him because they need to take him back to their ship because if they don't, the Republic troops will end up killing him. The M1 troops end up raiding Marvar's house in search of Cass, and Cass ends up giving away his position anyway because he left a comm with B2. But B2 doesn't give him up because, he's a cool-ass droid. They end up tracing the signal. Cass and the buyer named Luthen barter over the device, and he asks Cass how he even got it. And what Cass says is just awesome and just straight facts on how the Empire feels about themselves.
You just walk in like you belong.
Takes more than that, doesn't it?
What, to steal from the Empire? What do you need? A uniform, some dirty hands, and an Imperial toolkit. They're so proud of themselves, they don't even care. They're so fat and satisfied, they can't imagine it.
Can't imagine what?
That someone like me would ever get inside their house, walk their floors, spit in their food, take their gear.
The arrogance is remarkable, isn't it?
Luthen starts to push Cass and ask him if he really wants to do something about the Empire rather than just hurting them in smaller parts. The M1 troops interrupt Luthen's recruitment process of Cass, and they end up fighting and escaping, but they end up leaving the device in the process. They end up catching Cyril off guard, and instead of killing him like I thought they would due to the brutality of the first episode, they end up just letting him live. While dealing with Cyril, other M1 troops block off Cass's path of escape, but are distracted by a gunship blowing up due to Cass's minor friend rigging it. Then a speeder goes by and the M1 troops fire at it, but it was a decoy and Cass escapes back to Luthen's ship, and the episode ends with a past/dream Cass waking up to his new life and present Cass starting his new life as well. So that was the first 3 episodes of Andor, recapped very mediocrely. But I have to say, I'm really excited to see where this series is going to go in the next couple of 9 episodes. I hope there isn't any really filler episodes or pointless episodes like there was in Kenobi. And I hope there are some cameos that they will be doing. I know they're going to be adding in, I forgot the name. I'll pull a picture of her up. And I think they're going to have Saul Guerrero come back, Forrest Whitaker's character. I think that'll be pretty cool. But I mean, I'm a big Darth Vader fan, so if they end up doing some shit like that, that would be pretty awesome. But back to the first 3 episodes. I like some of the characters, mainly just Cassian, the Contact, and B2. But I hope the story is just about Cassian, because I really don't want to follow any other character. In my opinion, I just don't find any of the other characters in the show interesting besides Cassian. The first 2 episodes for me, I had no idea what direction they were going to go in. But going into the 3rd episode, that one tied this entire first 3 episode premiere up perfectly. There isn't too much for me to talk about with these first 3 episodes because, it's just the jumping off point for the rest of the season. But for the rest of the season, I want to see some spy shit, which I assume we will, and how the rebellion started in general. And I think in Revenge of the Sith, there was a deleted scene where some of the members of the rebellion, I guess Padme, I forgot the dude. It's Leia's dad and the one girl I was talking about. I'll throw another picture of her. They're meeting together. I hope that's not how they entirely started the rebellion, but I want to see the key figures of that coming together. The only thing I really don't hope they do, to be honest, with this show is the search for Cassian's sister, because I just don't see it being that interesting. I don't see how he could find her, because since Marvar, his mom, ended up picking him up, or I wouldn't say kidnapping him, but they're basically kidnapping him, and I just don't see how he would get back to her, and I don't really see her being very important to the story at all, to be honest. But anyway, they'll probably end up bringing it up because they made it a point for him to be searching for her in the first episode. So if that happens, I'll just live with it. So to wrap the video up, my closing statements are that the show seems like it has a lot of potential. I can't wait to watch the rest of the season. And for the first time in Star Wars history, instead of saying blasted, they said shit. So that was cool. This is a part 1 of 2 review of the show. Part 2 will end up coming out a week or 2 after the show actually ends. And yeah, and I'll try to give up my final opinion then and my rating then. But right now, I can't wait to watch the rest of the show. And the first 2 episodes, I wouldn't say it's a 7.5, or I think 7. I was about to say I don't think it's an 8. I think it's 7.5 is the perfect rating. And I can't wait, because I think this will be the first time we'll have 2 or 3 intersecting Star Wars show at once when they do end up releasing Tales of the Jedi and Bad Batch Season 2, which I will cover, but I gotta get Bad Batch Season 1 out the way. But for y'all, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Can't wait for more Star Wars content.